Bam! There we are. Episode
Bam.
199 of Hobby Hotline. I'm John. That's Chris. That's Brody. 199 again on Tuesday night. And we're going to go around the horn real quick here, not mess around. Chris, tell us
Yo,
something, anything. Talk to us, please. What's on your mind?
199. Wow. We've been on that long?
Almost historic.
That
this
means
episode.
the next show is going to be like number 200.
Yeah.
Did you
I
ever
think
think
so.
that we get to 200 on this?
I don't know. You guys have been around longer than I have. Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't think this would last this long. So,
What do you think, Brody? 200 is a
Sorry
big
for
number,
us.
huh?
It's crazy, yeah. It's a lot of years of episodes. Pretty crazy.
Hey, are you a Georgia Bulldog bandwagoner? What's going on here? Talk to me about this.
All my family went to Georgia. My great uncle actually was the offensive coordinator when Herschel Walker was there.
Oh, that guy, huh? Did Herschel learn anything? Because he doesn't seem like he's been able to retain anything. You know what he's doing right now, Herschel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's running for
That's in Georgia. I find it kind of.
How many times did you vote so far down there? Have you been able to vote yet down there?
No.
Send some
I
ballots
would
in.
be probably just because. I this is just joking, obviously, but I just don't get how do you not just vote for Herschel? Think about it. He's a Georgia legend. Respect him, man.
Wow. I guess so, man.
Wow,
I guess so.
that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
So are you going to go to Georgia? Is that your plan, or what's your plan?
I would love to. It would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Out of state's tough, man. It gets expensive, trust me.
Yeah.
So, again, 199, you're great here. Foul 5 Ball is here joining us. So there's at least 4 of us here, thankfully.
Yay.
Yeah. So we got 2 old men and a young man here. So bear with us, Brody, but you can be bitter like us. You don't have to wait 30 or 40 years. Let me ask you guys a question. We're going to start right off the bat here with this nonsense. See if I could share a screen. Might need a boomer here. What do we think of this whole thing? Any ideas? This is the Tops thing, right?
I was thinking the other day, there just aren't enough 1952 Tops reprint sets out there. We need more of them.
When's the last time we had one, Chris?
700 card Chrome set that they released.
Oh my God.
That was supposed to be last year that they got around to making over the summer. Just wasn't enough. We needed more of this.
It was not enough. So it says here, see if I can zoom in here. We'll read it because it's fun. The 1952 Topps Baseball is the most storied trading card set in history. Do you agree with that? I think that's debatable.
Questionable. It's one of the more significant trading card sets in history.
Yeah. Sure is, but I mean,
make an argument
T206s,
for the 206 set or even 89 Upper Deck.
How would you answer that question, Brody, if you were given more than 10 seconds to think about that? Somebody asked you what the most iconic set was. What would you say?
I would probably say T206 too.
Yeah? So you would go vintage all the way, right? So what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
For most storied, at least, yeah.
Speaking of products that Topps is beating into the ground is also so.
Yeah, Logan says the 33 Gaudi as well, which is up there, right? I don't mean to disparage the 52 Topps baseball set, but since Topps is trying to give us a history lesson, maybe they should understand history too. And it says its most iconic card, the 52 Mickey Mantle rookie, right? That's a pinch point for some people. Recently sold for $12.6 million. Back in the 50s, demand for these cards didn't exist following its release. The 52 set sat in a warehouse collecting dust. How many modern sets do you think are sitting in the warehouse collecting dust, Chris? How many can you think of?
I'm sure there's still lots and lots of junk wax era stuff that's.
But I'm talking about stuff that they never released too, right? Like Topps. Isn't there sets that are supposed to be out there that?
Yeah, like this year's finest.
Right.
2022 Stadium Club.
Alan Ginter, the Woodies, right?
Fest. Where are they?
Yeah.
Why are we getting this?
So we're going to roll out
Topps mini baseball again, and not getting brands that have 30 plus year histories behind them.
You know, I got so excited. I think it was in May or June that 2021 Big League was coming out. I was like, oh, Big League's finally coming out. But I'm on collecting the 2022 because there's been like 15 products out already.
Right. And when's the last time we saw a 52 set? Right. It was last year, right?
Last year.
Well, this year.
This
It was last
year.
year's set that was released this year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's are we let me get out of here. I can't look at this damn thing anymore. Are we fed up with Topps yet? Anybody with this nonsense? Yeah. Was this the last push?
Company for a decade.
Okay.
No originality. The same old tropes. Right. The same old gimmicks. The same
what
old.
What do you think they need, Chris? What do you think they need?
Like a dead horse.
What do they need?
And they don't. And the thing is that because they have a monopoly license, and because they have this built-in group of customers called group breakers that will literally buy any steaming pile that they squeeze out, they don't have to put an effort into this.
Right. Who do we blame? Anybody on this screen? I'm not buying from breakers. Brody, you buying from breakers? You enabling?
I buy once in a while. Probably like one break a month. It's pretty rare.
What attracts you to a break? Tell me
cheap.
When do you hit that buy button? Yeah, but is it brand? Is it sport? It's just or is it a monetary thing? You think you're going to get good return maybe?
Yeah, it's more like just...
You're a gambler. Come on, admit it. You're a degenerate. No.
Wearing that shirt outside of Georgia, he sure is a gambler. Sure.
I mean, probably like cheaper, but also like knowing that I'm gonna get some stuff and like making sure it's. I like breakers that ship all the cards and they don't say
base
like
cards. Yep.
Yeah, it's just at least. I mean, obviously you're hoping for something good, but like I think the last break I did was a wrestling break, and it was like random letter, and I got Z, so at least I got a lot of base cards.
You got a Z.
So what are you doing with those base cards? You're collecting? You're actually collecting these base cards, or you just they go in the box?
Depends on sets. Like I think it was the newest WWE set, so those ones I was excited for. But I mean, like if it was like a Topps Chrome break, I'd probably just go watch a YouTuber open 30 blasters or something.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point about shipping the base. That's a lot of people don't care about that, but that's good that you're ready, willing, and able to receive those. I love the 52 top set. I told Chris earlier, I hope this doesn't mean an influx of whatever what do you think they're doing here, Chris? I mean, tell me what
I think it's just another 52 Topps reprint product.
Is it going to be original size, or is it going to be this?
I don't know. Is it going to be
Brody?
Water refractors? Is that water damaged refractors? I don't know.
Right. Anybody wants to join us, you're welcome to join us over here on Hoppy Hotline. Give your opinion on this 52 debacle.
It
Big
could
T's
just
here.
be Project 52. It's more card art.
Really, you think the hobby wants that right now? I mean,
no, but
they already do that with the
doing it though.
Threes and the living set, right?
I think it's a mess, folks. I don't know what they're doing, but in fact, I don't know of any of these hobby companies that are marketing. Anybody marketing well these days? I mean, I don't see. I mean, Beckett sure did drop the ball at the National, right, where they released their new non-logo.
They released their new slabs on these big posters, but then said, "Oh no, that's not what the slab looks like."
Right. So
Okay.
what do you think? You're saying, I mean, the hobby needs something, right? Obviously, it needs a marketing push from somewhere. We're not getting it from inside the hobby.
Does
I
it
don't know.
though?
You tell me. They keep every time
Well,
they put something out there, it's a
I
crapshoot,
do
right?
know because I watch wrestling a lot that new panini sets when they come out, WWE posts them at least a couple times on each show.
WWE, huh? So they're pushing it pretty
Yeah.
hard,
yeah,
right?
they do that.
So I mean
When's
that
the
I like that. I think it's cool.
And the
but
same thing
you
with AEW and their upper deck cards. They do plug them every once in a while.
yeah, but
Don't
as
start me.
we know, WWE and whatever else are running around out there. AW is it AWA? You said
AEW, All
AEW.
Elite
I mean, they're
Wrestling.
marketing geniuses, right? That's what they
Yeah.
do. So why can't these? Baseball doesn't do it for cards. Football and basketball don't do it for cards, right? So obviously, nobody in the industry knows how to market, is what I'm saying, and probably needs a breath of fresh air there. Speaking of
What was the
Panini,
last time you saw a 30-second TV commercial for sports cards? I can't
I've
even
never seen
remember.
one. I've never seen one.
Yeah.
I've never seen one at a stadium. I've only been to a handful of games in the last 5 years, but there's plenty of time between innings to show those ads, right? But we're not doing that. We're having sausage races and stuff like that. Have you seen any overt advertisement in a stadium regarding any cards? I'm not talking about the Fanatics logo. I'm talking about cards specifically.
I don't think so.
I
Don't do it in
remember
basketball.
when Citizens Bank Park opened, like 2004, 2005 ish. Fleer would have an advertisement on that rotating board on the
Right.
backstop that
Right.
would run for like half an inning, 2 half innings each game.
Was that superimposed or was that live in the park? Because it's a different thing.
Might have
It's
been
probably
superimposed.
it's superimposed because it's just a green screen back there that they
Yeah.
use typically. So Fleer would advertise, and when was that? That was 2003, 4, right? I guess when that opened. You
Yeah,
said, yeah, I
when
got
they
you.
were still around.
All right, I'm
But
going to say hi to some people real quick here. We said hi to Foul Five Ball. Logan is here. Logan brings his wisdom, of course, and he did say 33 Gaudy, and he's not wrong about that. KBO Collections, all the way from Middle Korea, is here. Rich Frank is here. Rich Frank is currently winning the comments. I like what he is dishing up. DR is out of the hospital. Dan Ryan, it's disgusting what you just. I thought you said you were pumped in the hospital. You were pumping your stomach, but you're pumped to be out of the hospital. Good to have you back. So, welcome back, Dan, George. Did I miss anybody here? Probably not. So anyway, on with it. Panini. I was going to talk about Panini. Obviously, there's some stuff. Speaking of the breaking folks, of these serial number boxes where the kabooms can be found. Right. I'm sure you've heard of that. Big talk the last couple of weeks. Sports Card Radio, all that stuff. Do we need Panini anymore? I don't really seek out Panini or Donruss, but do we need them anymore? They just seem like they keep sticking their fingers in the
they're
pie.
pretty much a
screwing up.
lame duck company now.
Right.
I mean,
but what about? I mean, the redemption issue has been going on for a while, right? That's not just indicative of being lame duck company. I mean, are they doing anything right? What do you think, Brody? Brody, probably the wrestling thing, right?
Yeah, I mean they've got the 3-year deal for wrestling, and so far, they've been doing pretty well on that. It's been pretty well received. They do NASCAR.
Do they sell them at? Do they sell them at the events, Brody? I'm sorry to interrupt, but do they sell actual? Because again, they're big merchandisers.
I haven't been to. That's actually a good question. I'm going to a WWE show in December. I actually will be on the lookout for that because with all the advertising,
I mean, they know how to sell, right? Like I said, they know how to market, they know how to sell. So it seems like they offer bags of cards to people, packs, boxes, whatever. And I'm guessing NASCAR. Sorry about that, Logan and Val. I'm guessing wrestling fans have no problem spending money either because those are pretty big events.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think they do NASCAR and WWE well, but then it's just like prison basketball this year. They added another non-numbered parallel, and so
non-numbered, huh?
everybody just is like, why?
Well, it's added value, Brody. Come on.
Of
They
course it
aren't
is,
even
man.
numbered.
Oh my God. Added
Open a couple
values.
packs on the Daily Rip, and I've got 2 of them already.
Wow. That's crazy, man. So I ask this question every now and then, but where are we at? How are we ranking the sports right now and what's hot collectible wise? Chris, what do you think? Give me, and when I say sports, I don't mean wrestling, no offense, but that's stuntman. Uh, give me the big four
It's
sports.
real to us, damn it. No.
Kayfabe.
I would say, ordinarily, with about a week to go before the World Cup, you would think soccer would be a little bit bigger than it is.
You're a
But
dreamer.
the fact that it's in Qatar and there's a little unsavoriness about that, and the fact that it's in November, I just don't feel like the same kind of
Yeah.
excitement for the World Cup than I did even 4 years ago. When
But
the
you're a
US
soccer head, though, man. Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
soccer head. You're going to feel more enthusiastic than I. Brody, I don't know whether you follow soccer, but I doubt you have the same
Oh, I
enthusiasm.
hate soccer.
You
No
what?
offense, Chris.
It's not-
I hate soccer.
You're
No
supposed to
offense.
say
I'm
you're supposed to
not
say I hate North American soccer, Brody, not all soccer.
Yeah, I
Just
hate
North
that
American
no
soccer.
less. Sorry.
There you go. All right, 2 out of
World
3.
Cup is good.
Okay,
World Cup's
whatever.
entertaining.
I don't
Premier
know what
League.
you're missing, kid.
Premier
So
League is actually pretty entertaining. I like to watch
yes.
it. More.
Wow, I gotta send you some Manchester City swag, dude. Maybe come over to be a sky blue with me. And Chris likes the color blue as well because that's his beloved Union's color. But Chris, you didn't answer the question. You're dodging the question and being evasive. Top 4 sports
Top
in
4
collectability.
sports
November
right now.
2022. Yeah, collect on the give. Who's moving the needle the most here? And
Probably football.
okay.
That was what I was going to say.
Football, baseball, basketball, and because it's the World Cup, I'm still going to say soccer.
Okay, that's fair enough. What do you think, Brody? You have a different perspective than he does.
I would go the same order because
Okay.
football. I mean, it's football season. When football is on, on Sundays, it's like that's what you're doing for a lot of people. And baseball obviously is dying down, but I mean, you're starting to see some of the bigger rookies get rookie cards. Basketball, I mean, basketball is just starting up, and Panini did that a little weird because they haven't really gotten through too many sets of 2021, 22, and they already put out a set for 2022, 2023.
Right.
Which confuses me like a lot.
Yeah,
And
there's a weird math there.
I saw a picture of Walmart and there were like 8 rows of 2021 22 Chronicles draft picks that came out, I think like around my February, and they're just all sitting there.
I think every Walmart in America has like at least 2 dozen blasters of Chronicles draft picks that have just been
But what else? Like
starting to accumulate measurable amounts of dust. So
I see pictures on the internet of these absolutely stocked Walmarts or Targets, and that doesn't. I've been to a lot of places, and it's not happening in Nevada, where I just came from. It's not in LA, where I'm at now. It's not in Pennsylvania. Have you been running into these stocked stores, guys, or is this just somebody messing with us on the internet?
I see some stuff, but it's mainly baseball and basketball, really. I don't really see football that much. I mean, that's at Target where stuff's normal price. At Walmart, there's a lot of stuff, but I mean, I saw Topps Chrome, but it's like for me, because I do the daily rip and stuff, it's like, okay, I'll get one blaster, but I'm not gonna get any more than that because I'm not gonna sit down and open a blaster when I see all these one on YouTube and there's like nothing because the autos are so rare, all these parallels that are unnumbered, and it's
Right.
a huge checklist, so it's hard to get the rookies. So, and they left 3 of them out, so why would you pay $36 for it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That mess will never be cleaned up, regardless of what they do, right?
So down here in Delaware, I mean, all the Walmarts are pretty much stocked
Are
relatively
they?
well with cards.
I wonder if
But
that's a rural, because you're in a fairly rural area, Chris. I
yeah,
wonder if that's the
I wonder if
population thing.
that's it. But the Target in Dover removed its card section.
Hmm.
So
Did
no
they
more
remove it or
cards
did they
there.
move it? I've seen it at customer service. I've seen it in electronics in the back. That's one of the issues that.
It's not where it normally is. It's not in
Right.
electronics.
Are you for or against Cody getting cards out of Target altogether when Fanatics takes the full reins here, Target and or Walmart? So, do you see them staying in the game? My
Well,
point is, like, obviously we need to focus on the hobby shops, right?
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where you have to decide in your mind whether you want them everywhere or you want a more control, free for all like it was when Chris and I
Right.
grew up, or whether you want hobby shop, hobby boxes, mail order, whatever, hobby shops and mail order. That might be one of the other extremes.
the thing
Maybe.
here in Delaware is that there are no hobby shops around here.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are
Mhm.
a lot of places in this country, in rural America, where there are no hobby shops,
That's a good point.
where Walmart and or Target, if you're lucky enough to have a Target, those are pretty much the de facto hobby shops for a lot of these places.
But some of those
So,
boxes could make their way to card shows, right? Due to
oh yeah.
dealers that are also LCS owners or whatever. What do you see? What do you want to see, Brody? What's your utopia of distribution in the future?
I think they will keep blasters and maybe the fat packs, but I think they'll just sell them to the shops. Here's a cello box and here's a case of blasters. I don't know if they'll keep doing them at Target and Walmart. I
Right.
honestly, I'm not sure. But
Do they still
subscription
make Target
boxes,
specific boxes? And did they ever make Walmart specific? Like there were Target
they did,
boxes,
yeah,
right?
there was like the gravity ones where it was just like one pack for like $2 or $3 or whatever. But
Right.
that was about it, I think. Um
Yeah, I just think that
Subscription boxes could be a big thing if they do stuff like that. And like you said, there's no hobby shops in Delaware. If
but there's
that's
lids.
that's why,
Lids can be
yeah,
a hobby shop, maybe, right? That kind of thing. I mean,
Supposedly it's
I'm not talking in a true sense. Some people have suggested that the lids gets into the secondary market, which I think is insane because you can't have people that are,
no.
are trained to stitch thread in the hats to also tell you what these
I
secondary
hadn't
cards
even
are worth.
heard about lids until I saw it on this card stuff. Maybe I've seen a couple before, but yeah, I've heard of Hot Topic, but I haven't heard of lids.
Hot Topic. Hot Topic still around, man. You can get an Iron Maiden shirt at Hot Topic.
That is one of
Somebody's
my
running the comments here. Is that you, Chris?
Yeah, I put that up there.
I was going to say,
Where's
man,
the edgy
touching my
teenage
stuff.
clothing? I don't
Let's
know.
go
Is a
through some.
UGA hoodie edgy enough for you?
So, of course, Val and Logan are going to weigh in on NASCAR. That was specific to Panini, which makes sense. NASCAR, obviously, a vocal minority there, very loyal, all that stuff. F1 is dying, according to Val, which or slightly rotting on the vine. I guess we can all agree with that. That's kind of even though the
Yeah.
season just wrapped up. I don't know whether that's a jump the shark thing or whether it's because there's no competition in Formula One this year, from what I gather. But I don't know it's performance
I
or
think a
whether
lot
the
of the
trend is
people
over.
that got into Formula One cards were people that didn't actually watch any of the races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Just an observation.
I bet you they watched the Netflix stuff. You know, my wife
Probably.
my wife is not into sports at all, but she thoroughly enjoyed that show, and she, you know, encouraged me to watch it, which was great. But yeah, I get you. But there was also obviously a huge influx of investors, and I think one of the reasons why, possibly, and obviously I have hindsight to draw on here, is that or historical context, is the fact that perhaps it was an even playing field, right? I'm a vintage collector. Chris, you've been around a long time. You have a collection knowledge and a collection base. Brody, you've been around, the same thing. Formula One is kind of like everybody jumped into the pool at the same time. And I think that that was advantageous to people that were looking to invest or flip. So, and we know what's going on there, right? That's kind of, that was like a sandcastle on the beach and high tide came in, I think. Rich Frank says soccer's moving a bit. I'm an unabashed European soccer fan, so I love soccer. I don't believe, though, I can separate my compartmentalize things. I don't believe that the worldwide soccer fandom does translate into collector mayhem. I think that there's a large portion of the world that has no idea what collecting cards means. They've collected stickers, and then they've been living in favelas or ghettos, and they just don't. That's just not in their culture at all. So just
Panini
because
is definitely winning on cards, though. I'll give them that. Because I opened a hobby box of Topps MLS.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a couple hits, but I just wanted the box to be over.
Oh, really? Because there was so many people in there you didn't know? Is that why?
You made the mistake of opening up a Topps MLS product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was just like your 2 or 3 jersey cards and 1 or 2 numbered cards, and it was pretty much like every other pack. It was like, can this be over?
Are they event worn or are they game worn? The jerseys, any idea? Does that nonsense filter down into MLS?
It might be game worn. I don't remember.
So, is there an MLS card or Topps MLS card of that legend Gareth Bale yet, or too late for that, Chris?
I don't think he was on in there.
And they don't do update stuff for soccer, right?
Oh, of course not.
That'll come out in 23.
They pretty much half-assed the flagship set. Do you expect them to?
I got you. And truth be told, it's not that popular, as Brody said. It's can't wait to get to the end of it. Rich Frank is now. Rich, I don't know whether you're moving MLS or whether you're moving global soccer stuff, and you're waiting for the cup boom. One of the problems I had during this World Series, which didn't quite turn out the way we wanted to, Chris, was that Fox was playing on the American public actually thinking and selling the dream that they have a chance. Did you notice that at all in those commercials? Or are you part of that? Did you buy into that dream that the United States team has a chance?
They have a chance to get out of group flip.
They better get out of the group. If they can't get out of that group, they don't belong in the World Cup.
They should beat Iran and they should beat Wales.
Get the Dragons, or at least
get a result out of it.
Right. How many points do you think it's going to take to win the group?
They'll beat Wales. They just had WWE pay-per-view there a couple months ago. They're good for a couple years.
Yeah.
Wales is one of those teams, though, Brody, that pops up, and there's one dude with a man bun who just wakes up every couple of years, and that's Gareth Bale. So you never know.
Breaks your heart.
He's well rested.
Like he broke my Philadelphia Union heart.
Yeah, Chris didn't have a heart, but
no, you're right. I don't.
Yeah, but he definitely stepped on your throat. That's for sure. But I think that it's a little, I know it's a ratings deal, but man, hopefully America isn't shocked by, the the talent on the world level. I mean, I'm used to seeing America lose to, El Salvador or whomever, like, right. Every now and then they throw those boners up. You can't do that. And on the world stage, that's for sure. So what do you think, Brody? You're looking forward to the World Cup. You're looking forward to maybe the USA doing a little damage. You're going to have some cup fever. Or you're just going to have the sniffles. What are you going to have?
I'll look on ESPN and see if they won.
Okay, there you go. That's an honest answer. Now, our boy Dan Ryan says he just added his 4th Alex Morgan Upper Deck rookie card for my daughter's collection. I can always get behind watching those the women of the U.S. Play because they're badasses, as they say. I think they're amazing. And then Rich Frank, you know who Rooney is, Brody? You ever hear? You know what Rooney's first name is?
No.
Wayne Rooney was a Manchester United legend, and I think he's coaching. Is he
DC
at DC United?
now.
Yeah, he's at DC United. He played there. Now he's back coaching. He's a true legend in England, a Premier League legend in your lifetime. I mean, he's
England's all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, and he's Everton, and then he went to Man United, been back to Everton, and monkeyed around for a while. But he's a legend, and I could see that. But he doesn't have that charm and charisma. He's not a Ronaldo or whatnot. So we got a guest coming in here.
Oh, we got a caller.
I can't wait to see him. We got a caller. You ready?
Winner.
Andrew, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to pop in a little bit and say hello. How's everybody doing this evening?
We're great. What's on your mind?
Right.
What did we say
wrong?
Well,
we got our first snowfall out here. Huh?
Did you? I said, what did we do? It feels like you're popping in to correct us on something.
No. I just wanted to stop in and say hello, and that we did get our first snowfall. So that kind of disheartening knowing that this is on its way.
Oh, I love it.
And where are you at?
Pennsylvania.
What part?
Kentucky.
The closest
North of Reading, right? North of Reading.
Yeah, like I think Pottsville is the home of Yingling. So I'm pretty close to Yingling.
I'll be up near there soon. I'll be going to Camelback when they open Camelback and all that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. How's Dean doing? Is he all right?
He's in bed already. Yeah.
He's in bed. I have no concept of time. It's 6:30 where I am. So what are you excited about? What do you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andrew.
He's pumped for basketball. This is going to be his first basketball season. So
playing or is he pumped about the NBA? He's pumped about playing.
He's pumped about playing. Yeah.
Who's his favorite? I know who his favorite baseball player is. Mike Trout, right? Or Shohei.
Right.
What is it? One of those two, right?
He would say it's J-Ho.
Okay. All right. Is he a Sixers fan or what's going on?
For some reason, and I don't know why, he likes the Milwaukee Bucks, and I've asked him why, and I think it's because they have a deer as a logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a stag. Tell him it's a stag, not a deer. He's got to be right. So you guys have your YouTube channel. If you want to tell us where that is real quick for everybody.
Yeah, it's at Paige and Deanie Bean. We do a card of the day and mail pickups, and we participate in the VRs that some of the content creators send out to us, and we're having a blast doing it as a father and son, and there's just something about his excitement that really kind of propels me to be excited about the hobby as well. So it's kind of fun seeing him excited about cards at such a young age.
Which is awesome. It's incredible. I wish I had that with my guys, but Dad wasn't cool enough. You're a cool dad, Andrew. That's for sure. You guys running around. I asked earlier about Walmarts and Targets. Are you guys finding anything in Targets? Where do you go hunting?
We have a honey hole, and
I think you showed me that. Yeah.
Yeah, he has stuff that goes back to like 1984 all the way. I think his last like unopened wax, I think it ends like around 2000, 2002, somewhere around there. he doesn't have any new stuff, but the old
Yeah.
stuff that he has for sale is really, really reasonable. It's not anything like buying a belt. I mean, it's blaster price for a full 36 count box.
Right. Wow. So I have to get up
So,
there and you
Where's
send me
this place
pictures.
again?
You got to take the Yangling beer tour and then head out to his LCS. He's like me. He won't tell you where it is. I have a honey hole that I won't tell anybody.
I
Yeah.
have to look up.
I'll have to. I'm going to triangulate his signal and I'll find him one of these days.
well, hey, I just wanted to stop in and say hello, and you guys are doing a great job. I'm going to pop back into the chat.
All right, Andrew. Thanks. Hey,
All
I got a package for you too coming for Christmas. All right. I can't wait.
I
It's gonna be
appreciate
awesome.
that. Thanks,
I
John.
guarantee you don't have it. It's going to be great. Thanks for stopping by, man.
All right, we'll
I'll
see you.
talk to you. Bye. Yeah, he does a show with his young son, and his son is young. I'm going to say he's in early to Brody. Well, you weren't. It wasn't that long ago for you, but he's probably in early elementary school, probably third grade, maybe somewhere around there. And it's just wonderful. They do it's a nice little 1-2.
It's awesome.
So, Brody, I know your parents were at the National. Do they, either one of them collect at all?
My dad used to collect a lot as a kid, and I still open stuff with him, kind of like some wrestling stuff because we're a big wrestling family. Some baseball.
Something about you Midwesterners love that wrestling, man. I don't get it, right? I think it's great, but I just don't get it. There's a lot of you, and you're all concentrated out there. I think it's the Central Time Zone. I think that's where it all comes from. So
yeah, I don't know. Central Time Zone, stupid. Central, you have 4 time zones. Why not just 2? Why can't we just make it 2?
I'm gonna try to jump through the comments here again. It's easy for me to get distracted, but there's a lot of good people commenting. So I'm going to go right to Val where he says last Formula races this weekend. A little bit of controversy there from what I gather between Verstappen and his teammate. I don't know whether you guys catch any of that stuff, but you're supposed to help your teammate, and Verstappen doesn't do that. So that's kind of fun. It's like watching soccer guys go down in a clump after somebody pulled out one of their leg hairs. It's the same kind of thing, you know. Let's see here. Rich Frank says, I like my blaster with my chonies. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to move on from that. F1 is down 90% on many cards and issues. Is that you're talking about a popularity, or they just stopped releasing product, Logan? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure. I'm not saying it's not wrong. I just don't know what it means. I'm a very simple man. Rich Frank back again. Junk Wax Investors' latest video showed NASCAR GOAT autographs are getting pretty expensive. Oh boy, that could set off a frenzy here. 3 years ago, 95% of the hobby had no idea who Lewis Hamilton was. Lewis Hamilton, I read the English papers because I'm a soccer head, right? He was a big deal around the world for many years now, right, Chris? Yeah,
I knew who Lewis Hamilton was, and I had no idea. I didn't watch F1.
I think you can. You're right. Logan's absolutely right. The hobby didn't know who he was, and Americans didn't know who he was. But that's like one of those things where the rest of the world.
He's one of those He's like, you know, they just had a football game in Germany over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure the German people knew who Tom Brady was.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And people were amazed that people were singing along in Germany too, and they don't understand it. That happens. That happens every game. And I got to know not a spat, but I was talking to somebody on Twitter about that. I said there's 5 NFLs in Europe, and they said, well, what metrics are you using? And I said everybody knows who Messi is and Ronaldo, and all these guys are. There's more Liverpool fans, Man United fans, Real fans in the world than there are of any football team. I will fight anybody on that. It's just a big deal over there, but we're the last to know as usual. So, here we go. Hail Mary Sports Cards. Where's Monster Truck and Extreme Sports Cards? Skateboard Supercross. I would love a Jeremy McGrath patch auto. I don't know who Jeremy McGrath is. Is he a Monster Truck person? our Midwest correspondent, Brody. Do you know the answer to that? No
I
idea, huh?
don't.
Anyway, and then DR weighs in on the John Hamm as Santa, I believe, was a great commercial. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the U.S. women's team defeat Germany the other night. Of course, we know that, Dan, but the women are the true American soccer stars in my book. I agree. Let me talk to you guys about something that's been bothering the crap out of me. Oh, here you go. This is a great one. This is a great call-out card, hobbyists. Michael Schumacher was Lewis Hamilton before Hamilton came along. He was a pretty big deal. Tragic what happened to him, but pretty big deal. And then this guy, I don't know what this guy's thinking or eating or smoking, but the World Series jihad, a perfectly fine conclusion. So you can't trust anybody from Texas.
No.
No.
I got a four-letter word that I want to talk to you guys about, and hopefully it's okay with your parents, Brody. But what do we know about comp? The word comp. What does comp stand for? Does it stand for comparables? Does it stand for complicated? Because I get asked how you comp cards. How do you comp cards? I was at Jenny sent this to me the other day. Jenny Miller said retweeted somebody to me about how to comp vintage cards, but comps to me seem like the most unscientific thing in the world for many reasons. Am I picking an already healed scab, or does this bother anybody else? The whole term comp
I
and
always
what it
thought
means.
that a comp was something that a casino gave you for free
It
for
was
playing like nickel slots. For an hour.
buffet. Yep, buffet
Free,
or even a
free
ride
drinks.
home. What do you think about comps, Brody? Because I have a problem with comps because no comps are equal, right? So what do you does comps bother you at all the way it's about to bother me and I'm ready to unleash on it or no?
Honestly, I just say price.
How do
Or
you no, I'm not, it's not the word, it's like the
No.
concept. Like what do you use to comp cards if you were buying or selling cards? What do you use?
usually I just go on the eBay app. Is what I
Okay.
do.
Yes.
Just eBay or Terapeak, or I guess it's just eBay, right? And you go to sold, right?
Yeah.
So we have that, and that's what? It's a 12% 12% fee for eBay around there. Is that right?
Yeah, I think
Something like
Sales
think
tax. What's the sales tax where you are, Brody?
I'm pretty sure it's about 12.
12. Wow. It's Chris doesn't pay any sales tax, right?
Well, geez.
Yeah. Chris, I pay half of what Brody
I'm in
does.
Delaware.
He pays
Zero.
nothing. So say it's 6% where I am, right? Which is still too much, right? So that's 18%, right? So how does that comp equal to the comps you hear on auction sold, where you're comping those fees of eBay versus a auction sold price, but you don't factor in the buyer's premium? Like I don't understand how we comp cards anymore, or how we can even use the word comp, because they're not comparable, right? Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
I think what, as Brody said, is that most people, comp is is the same as eBay, right?
Right.
But
But
the
we're
thing
using
is,
that metric, which is flawed, right?
not all cards are sold on eBay, though.
Right. But a card that I buy on eBay for $10 isn't the same card that you buy, because I pay $10.60, or $100 I pay $106, or $1,000 I pay $1,060. You pay $1,000. So 50 states,
But
and
I
there's
paid it. But I paid may have paid 75 for it at the weekend card show.
well, that's
How
another
do you
thing
comp that?
where, in spite of what all of our friends that sell cards say, some of whom have hosted and some of them still host Hobby Hotline, there's a lot of people not paying taxes on those sales, right? So you're
Correct.
right. That's not a price, and it's unreported. I mean, taxes unreported, but also the prices aren't reported. You're absolutely right, Chris. So there's really no way to comp this thing. Bo's chimed in at 6.25%. So if somebody's charging you 12%, Brody, be careful. I think they're ripping you off.
That
All
was
right.
awesome.
Yeah. I just like I had somebody ask me today. We were talking cards. Somebody I hadn't met before was with somebody that I knew, and we were talking cards. And that's one of the things. We all know they ask you what your most expensive card is or what your big bangers are, but how do you comp? How do you know what your cards are priced? And I've taken the lazy way out. I say when I die, that's my family's problem, and I still feel that way because it'll be fun for them to do, but. It's something that kind of bothers me because it's not a science, and we act like it's a science. I was at Burbank Sports Cards the other day, and somebody had his market movers out and was insisting that was the price that card was supposed to go for. And they were, Burbank doesn't have to sell him the card for the price he says it is. It's not a menu. I always say it's not a menu, it's a guide, but I don't know. Maybe it bothers the crap out of me. What was that, Brody?
Jeff Wilson. I mean, like, we go back to 2019. I think that Will Greer is a 4 times better investment than Kyler Murray.
Who's that? Is that Sports Card Radio that plays that? They play that almost every show.
Time.
That's awesome.
It makes me laugh every single time, and I know it's coming, but it just makes me laugh.
And you know what? Every time Jeff keeps a straight face when he says it, which I admire him not breaking character.
And I still love the. And number 3, Bo Bichette from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Bo's my favorite MLB player. And when I saw that video, I literally wanted to lose my mind.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're not an investing show. Thankfully, none of us are professionals. None of us are experts. We do have some experts that host Hobby Hotline, but the good thing about those experts are they won't claim that they can tell the future and stuff like that. Nobody can tell the future. We can just report on the past. Nobody's got a crystal ball and can tell you where the hobby is going to go. You can interview 100 people about it. They can tell you 100 different things, and 1 or 2 of them may be right, but that's just because that's the way the odds are, right? So no experts anywhere. Go ahead,
when
Chris.
It comes to comps, I have an idea here.
Let's have it.
What if there was someone who took all this pricing information, scraped the data off of eBay and whatnot,
right,
and then sent like stringers out to card shows and observed, actual transactions and writ them down, put all this into a database, and then maybe like publish it in like a magazine that came out like
paper, you say? Right. And then maybe specialize in individual sports.
Have like one for the baseball collectors, one for football collectors.
I need to get a pen, dude. This is
awesome. then in addition to this, I don't know, maybe we'll call it a monthly price guide. We have like articles, news items, maybe like a special section devoted to like sports art every once in a while.
How do you feel about arrows?
Card shows in the back.
Do you like arrows, ups and downs, or is that something?
Maybe you put up arrows and down arrows next to those cards that may have increased in all seriousness. I think when we're talking about comps, I think what we really need is a price guide. Maybe not on
guide. He was smart enough to always call it a guide, though, and that's what it is.
Something like
guide.
that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By the way, Logan, this is the name of my local LCS, which he's a great guy, but the name What's Hot.
And that's another thing we could put in this monthly magazine: a list of all the players who are hot, and a list of all the players that are a hot list and a cold list, if you will.
Well, the problem with that now is the football magazine would be pretty thin, right? Because it's just a handful of quarterbacks. The hockey magazine would be pretty thin because it's just Connor McDavid and Ovechkin and maybe 1 or 2 other people. Basketball, who knows what's going on there?
Who knows?
Yeah. Zion would always be high. He's in the Hot Hall of Fame, obviously. And baseball would be that career 270 hitter, Wander Franco, who's, I believe he's eligible for the Hall of Fame vote coming up in December. Looking forward to that as well. Tell me about that, Brody. Tell me about these have a boomer, a near boomer like me, pick your brain for a second. I'm sure these guys are great. J Rod and Wander Franco and all those guys, but do you how do you feel about these guys being anointed as the next Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and Ken Griffey Jr.? I mean, does that bother you at all, or is that just the way the generation that you're a part of deals with things?
Well, first off, thank goodness you said Franco and not Franco, because I'm getting really
Franco.
tired of that. I get so annoyed when people say Franco.
Is it Robert
But
or Robert?
it's Robert. It's
Okay.
Robert.
Okay.
At least that's what I think. But I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. When the Sox are good, I definitely don't watch like at least 100 of their 162 games. First pitch
Okay.
get
You
like,
do?
yeah, I watch a
Oh,
lot
that's
if they're
good, man.
good. It,
That's
it, it
impressive.
depends when they're good. Not unlike this year where they would lose 10 games and then win 10 games, and they just keep doing it until they were out
Right.
of time.
Who's managing them next year?
It is the Royals bench coach, and I don't remember his
Okay.
name.
All right. He's made quite an impression. Well,
But
I think it's impressive that you watch that because your generation grew up entirely with ESPN, where you can get all the game highlights in 30
Mhm.
seconds or a minute. So I commend you for watching that. I think that's great.
I love watching baseball. Because the announcers in baseball, I think, not on the national level, but if you watch the more local guys,
Right.
yeah, Pedro Griffo, that's what it is. The Royals like somehow dominated the White Sox this year with guys I never heard of. So
Who
that
did
was
the
the
Royals did?
hardest move.
So what was the Royals payroll, Chris?
It was
Bottom five, right? We
it
said.
was like bottom 5 or something.
And they dominated your White Sox.
They were like, I mean, what do they play?
25th.
15 in the division.
Wow.
I mean, they were probably about even on games, or the Sox might have lost by
Right.
one. It was like something like that, and it was like every time, it's like, why can't we beat the Royals? It's the Royals.
Sox have talent too, right? There's no doubt the Sox
Yeah,
have talent.
yeah. It's just everybody got hurt every time somebody would get hurt, and I'm like, what are our managers doing? Why don't we have better trainers? Because our guys are getting hurt like crazy.
Right. Yeah, that happened a lot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed like everybody was out at some point.
Yeah,
When's the
everybody
last
except
time you
Slater, who's the oldest guy.
when's the last time you were at that ballpark, whatever it's called right now?
It was late August for Diamondbacks game in the club level, so that was fun.
I like that stadium. When they first opened it, they were opening it, I think, a year before Camden Yards, and then Camden Yards came out, and that stadium, it was Comiskey and then Cellular One Field, and it was just obsolete. But what they've done to that park is amazing.
Yeah,
What's it called? The White Sox Park. What is it?
it's guaranteed rate now. I just call it
Beautiful park.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're lucky because, like I said, 92 or whenever that came out, it was supposed to be the new big thing, but it was a complete dud because it got blown out of the water by Camden Yards. So we have a little argument in the chat I need to get to real quick. Jim Clark was better than either Hamilton or Schumacher, but Logan Ward's going to tell us that Juan Manuel Fangio was better than Jim Clark. What about Jackie Stewart? Rich and Logan, weigh in on Jackie Stewart if you could. Appreciate it. And these are your guys here?
yes. Jason Benetti and Steve Stone.
There are a lot of Chicago White Sox fans, like Dan Ryan and one or two people I know there up in Scottyville in Wisconsin. So it's neat. One of the great things about the hobby is meeting hobbyists, but meeting fans of other teams. It's kind of neat to see their passion for it and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Lester, exactly right. So I mean, Chris and I root for the same team, so that's no fun. But it's neat seeing other people and other teams because you're where we come from.
Because where I'm at, it's like probably 75% Cubs, 25% Sox, probably. So I love being a Sox fan because I love seeing which people are Sox fans and which people I got to root against.
Yeah, I've heard I know a Cubs fan that lives in his basement, and he says that sometimes it gets pretty violent in bars there. He'd go to bars when he would go to Chicago, venture out of his basement, and there'd be full on fisticuffs, which is interesting because these people, I guess it's like Europe, right? Chris, where Manchester and Manchester City have to occupy the same places at school and work, and same thing in Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal, all that stuff. It's kind of neat to see that. I mean, you have these. I come from a one team town where I was born.
Used to
There were
be a
two teams.
two-team town.
Yeah, it used to be two teams, but it's neat to see that division. And on Sundays, I assume you're a Bears fan, right?
Yes.
What's the deal with Justin Field? Can you, for some of my Bears fans out there, which the White Sox and Cubs fans can agree that the Bears are the team, can you kind of temper their enthusiasm over Justin Fields, or tell them that he's not the real deal, or do you agree?
I agree. I
You agree
was,
he's the real deal?
yeah, I was like close to the point where I was like, well, he's just another Ohio State guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he started kicking it up a little bit with this running, and ever since he did that, he's running for a lot of yards, and he seems like, at least to me, he's throwing better, and the receivers have been better. If they didn't trade their defenses, they probably would have won the last two games. But they traded like pretty much every defender, so we're gonna probably get like 5 wins. Hopefully, we can
Yeah.
beat the second time around. That'd be nice.
Chris and I'll tell you that running quarterbacks ain't all that. We've lived through several iterations of them, and
You need to protect them with an offensive line, or else.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is this draft?
You could have a team that has this awesome defense and a running quarterback who's just told by the head coach, just go out and make a couple of plays.
Right.
And
Broken plays.
wind up 9-7 every year and out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Are you all in collecting wise on Justin Fields?
What?
Are you all, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Are you all in collecting wise with Justin Fields? Have you been scooping stuff up, or had you already prepared?
I'm not like all in. I mean,
did you get the cards you wanted? You get a lot of the cards you wanted. As a Bears fan, you had an advantage, right? Because people were going after Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You had the luxury of going after. So you have a nice little collection.
Stuff was still expensive too, so it was a little hard still.
Are you looking forward to Topps football cards? Has that happened in your collecting career? Topps football?
No, that stopped before it probably a little over a year after. Okay. But some of the sets that I've seen in the past look pretty good, and some of them I'm like, this probably won't work in football.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that some of those, I assume, Chris, we're going to see vintage or heritage football, right, and heritage basketball.
Of course.
Right. But what's neat about that is a lot of that stuff.
They got more products and designs to beat into the ground.
Well, that's the thing. I actually wanted to ask you guys. I have this poster of the Topps designs from 1951 to 2019. And it seems like I know every design until I get to like 1993.
Right.
And like 94 through like 2001. Those are the years that I could not recognize and tell you.
You're talking about baseball, right?
Yeah.
It's
mid-90s.
They're all like white bordered.
They're all white borders.
Cards.
Yep. Yeah. Slight little geometric variations.
No real color variation by team.
You're right. It's mostly white border and a huge picture with no accent.
There was that 95 doesn't even really look like Topps. It almost looks like Fleer with this white design.
Yeah, I'm with Rich Franks. Can't wait for Topps football. I'm looking forward to some of the archive / heritage stuff. Keep in mind, in the 70s, there were no logos on any of the cards. So it'll be fun to see some of that for the first time because they had to airbrush out the logos and all that stuff. So it'll be fun to see that again, I should say, because I'm sure that they made some cards in the 90s and early 2000s from that run. But it'll
I'll be
be
excited
fun.
to collect some legends more than younger guys.
Truth be told, Panini, Contenders, Chronicles, all that stuff just confuses the crap out of me. I have a small brain, so it's hard for me to keep all that stuff. But I have a lot of
I enjoy
modern football.
Chronicles a little bit, but Prism and Optic and
Right.
Contenders, that
Okay. Yeah, Chronicles looks like
Kind
a
of.
bear's rear end.
Yeah.
well,
And you can't even.
Contenders, it's just all about the one on-card auto you get in this $600 box. It could either be a third-round wide receiver or it could be Mac Jones. That's
Right.
pretty much the definition of Contenders football.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the same with basketball as well because there were some great basketball designs, not necessarily photography, because photography essentially sucked back, in the 70s and 60s. So it'll be fun with some digital photography with some old school analog designs. It's where I am at 7 o'clock, where Chris is, it's 10 o'clock. Brody, it's always 1 hour behind Chris.
I'm never on the time thing,
Yes.
Yeah.
1991
I know that you're in Pacific. I don't even know what the one that's in 8 o'clock right now is.
That's
Mountain.
That's Mountain.
Mountain. There you go.
Mountain
Okay.
time. Nobody lives there.
Wow.
This is why we don't have. This is why we don't have the national and the mountain time zone.
Wyoming's empty. Montana's empty. Colorado's pretty empty.
New Mexico.
You're a Broncos fan. Tracy Hackler.
Yeah, there you go. Nobody cares about the mountain time zone. That's for sure. Any last thoughts from you, Brody? Let's tell everybody where they can find you, even though they know where to find you. Tell us where to find you.
Brody TK on Twitter, Brody the Kid One on Instagram, and you can watch my show Hobby Life show on YouTube. I just had Tyrus on, who just won the 10 pounds of gold at NWA, and is on Gutfeld on Fox News. So he's a pretty awesome guy.
Good. And what about you, Chris? I'm not going to give you the last word yet, but just tell us about your right there.
You can find me on Twitter at Stalegum. You can find a bunch of old blog posts at stalegum.com.
All right.
Find me at Baseball Cardpedia.
Okay.
And once a month here.
And at the home of tax-free shopping.
Yep.
Episode 200.
Don't forget to pay your toll, though.
Brody, 10 Mile Road they have through Delaware, and it's like a $30 toll or whatever.
It's not that much.
Oh, jeez. I thought Pennsylvania was bad.
How much is it? No, it's
$4.
No, dude, it was $4 in 1989.
It's $4 now.
All right, for 10 miles of road and a Sbarro at a rest stop. Episode 200 on Bench Clear this weekend. It's going to be awesome. Congratulations to Hobby Hotline. Before we go, Chris, I'm going to say there's 1,000 points of light, but
keep on rocking in the free world.
God, you nailed that thing. All right, let me try to find a video. Thanks, guys.